So I was at lunch. I was looking at all the franchisee of the year and Rising Star and different, and go back, quite a ways back, right? And boy, we sure change a lot, don't we? Over in the years that it's been, and even 15 years makes a big difference in how we look, and yet the feeling that you have about KOA and doesn't change, and that's sort of the nice part about it all. It's my pleasure to be able to sort of present assuming I can find my speech here, to present the first ever 50-year service award to franchisees, the Kelch family from Pigeon Forge. And we've been looking forward to this event in the last few months as I thought about it and talked to Ann, and I attended a party she held for a lot of her friends in the Pigeon Forge area, and it was my pleasure to attend, and it was a great event, and we really celebrated a life well lived and a campground that's had a big piece of KOA's history. So at this time, I guess I'd like to invite the table. They got a full table over there. So if Ann and you and Eric and Heather and Ashley and Charleston and Reagan and Dee and Diane, can you all come up on stage here? Hi, Reagan. You ready for this? You like all these people out here? You guys look great. I know Eric likes to be up here on stage, and well, I wanted them to be on stage before I told you a little bit about the Pigeon Forge KOA and the Kelch family, and so we watched Charleston dance a little bit here, but let me take you back a little bit in time, and I apologize for any possible mistakes I might have made in the timeline here. But the Pigeon Forge KOA, before I get that, everybody was talking about what happened in 1966, or the decade that the campground was there. But I brought it down to try to get you a feel for how long ago that was, and I tried to look in Google and find the things that would be, let people really get a feel for just the length of time. And I just finally got one point that I thought would really drive it home. I was asking around at my table if anybody knew what happened in 1966, and Terry Shade said, I got my driver's license. So that just gives you a little bit of feel of how long ago it was. LBJ was president, and the Beatles were going strong. And of course, they had their last concert, sort of, in Candlestick Park. Ronald Reagan was elected the governor of California. I noticed that Canada finally got color TV. You see, one of the things that was unusual, not that I could have told you who played in the World Series, but that's not really news. The news there was that the World Series actually took place in October and not November, So it was back in the good old days. And, unfortunately, it was a time of a lot of strife, perhaps. The Vietnam War was being escalated. 250,000 troops were over there. So it was a little bit of turmoil going on, not so different sometimes than what I think today is a little bit. So, but nevertheless, the good thing in all that time was the Pigeon Forge KOA was the first KOA east of the Mississippi River. Today is an honor to recognize Ann Kelch for being the first KOA franchise owner to successfully operate their campground for 50 years. Entrepreneurial spirit, expertise, enthusiasm, business acumen, and a little luck have combined to build a highly profitable and award-winning business in the heart of the Great Smoky Mountains. I know Ann didn't do it by herself, but without her focused, confident attitude and her business-savvy management skills, we might not be standing here today. 50 years ago, to this year, Ann's in-laws, Laverne and Gladys Kelch, opened the Pigeon Forge KOA. Prior to building the KOA, they relocated their two sons, Dick and Rick, from Wisconsin to Tennessee, where they heard the football was a little better. Dick and Ann worked on the campground together and ended up dating and eventually married in December of 1969. The campground ultimately transitioned to Dick, Ann, and Dick's brother, who was a passive owner and not involved in the campground business or the management. Dick Kelch, for those of you who did not know him, was a wonderful man and one of my mentors as I started to build a career at KOA. He was an easy man to look up to, both literally and figuratively. I would characterize Dick as a modern Renaissance man, a man's man, a gentle giant with large calloused hands and a smile that warmed the hearts of most every person he met. He enjoyed building things right and all the outside work associated with caring for a busy campground. He was also just as comfortable greeting guests, working the front desk, and ensuring everyone had a wonderful camping experience. My guess is that Ann controlled the money and managed the family in those early years. She made sure the cash lasted through the winter and the campground stayed up to date. Oh, and probably made sure Eric and Heather towed the line. Dick passed away much too early in 1997, and I happen to know that he died not having achieved his goal of owning the campground outright. Not long after Dick's passing, Ann did what she had to do to take on the full load of operating a campground and holding her family together. She was now very much a minority business owner in that only 25% of all small businesses are owned by women. One of her first objectives was to buy out her brother-in-law and fulfill on the goal to own the campground 100%. Taking on a major loan and a big risk, Ann accomplished what she set out to do, demonstrating her resolve and her ability to achieve what she puts her mind to. You think that's about right? Got a lot of resolve? I would agree. Most importantly, the kids grew up well. Eric came in and helped his mother out in those years after Dick passed away, and Heather went off to college, I think, and Eric worked with Ann, and they ran the campground for a few years, and then Heather graduated from college, came back. Eric went off and started his own company and a construction business, and then Heather continued to help Ann in the camping business. Heather married Ashley Johnson, who you can see over there with Charleston, and they have two beautiful children, Ann's grandchildren. Charleston, I said there, and of course Reagan down here. And I'm sure they're never spoiled by their grandmother, right? Never? Okay. Eric married a local girl named Leslie Ogle over there, and both Leslie and Eric later on accepted positions with our company-owned campgrounds, and over the course of about 5 years added their expertise to our operations and development. A few years ago, they decided to move back home and take on development opportunities at the Pigeon Forge KOA with Ann. Great success followed, and an already strong established business experienced new growth, preparing for the next 50 years. Well, that's really, in a very short way, sums it up as best I can, knowing that there's far more to the story. I'm sure there have been many ups and downs and regrets and successes. 50 years, where does it go? How can a period that contains so many memories and experiences happen in the blink of an eye? Ann, Kay would like to honor you with this campfire sculpture that you see over here, which represents both the heart of the camping experience and your entrepreneurial spirit. In recognition for your years of adding value to the KOA system and for providing amazing camping adventures to hundreds of thousands of camping families. You should be, and I know I've told you this before, you should feel extremely proud of what you have accomplished, operating a very successful business for so many years, raising an amazing family, and positively impacting the lives of so many campers while contributing significantly to your community. I hope this milestone becomes a starting point for you to enjoy the success and build upon a career of meaningful work and a life well lived. Thank you very much for 50 years, all of you. You got it all out there?
Yeah, I do, but you kind of, pretty much said it all.
Oh.
Well, 50 years is a long time. But when you love seeing your guests enjoy your property and making so many beautiful family memories for themselves, it's very gratifying. So I guess that makes the 50 years wonderful. Pat told you most of everything, that kind of what I was going to tell you, how it's all happened. I guess I've operated campgrounds with the grateful and wonderful help of Eric and Heather after their dad passed away, and it's been 19 and a half years. Shortly after Dick died, I then decided you need to live each day as if it were your last, because someday it will be. We celebrated our 50th anniversary with no thoughts of selling. And all I can honestly say is God put it together. It just happened. And I'm elated knowing that KOA is the proud owner. I have loved my 50 years from June 1966, cleaning bathrooms, to being the owner from 1998 after Dick passed till October. I've been very blessed in life, and I feel I always have angels surrounding me. My theory is always have the courage to follow your heart. I am now on the next journey and have a lot of life to live. I always tell Heather and Eric, I'm going to be here till I'm 102. So I have 32 more years to enjoy my travel and enjoy my life. I guess one of my great verses is, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. It's been great. Thank you. Thanks to KOA, and God bless you all.
Well said. Here you go. It's sort of heavy. All right, one more. Maybe you want one without me. No, come on. I got plenty. I failed to mention two other folks that were up there. That was Dee and his daughter Diane. Dee has been a longtime manager for Ann for a long time, and she felt it deserved to share some of the 50-year glory with him, and glad he brought his daughter along as well. Thank you.